Welcome. In front of me is a HUAWEI P50 Pocket, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and tricks you can do on this phone. So we're going to begin with number one, which is the gesture navigation. Now by default the phone actually allows you to set it up to be in this kind of mode. When you go to the setup screen, this is the kind of like default state, but if you for instance decided to switch and you want to now use the buttons instead, or maybe you selected by mistake the buttons and you want to use gestures now, easy way to switch it between is by going into the settings, scrolling down to system, and then system navigation, where you will have the two options, buttons and gestures. So now moving on to the next one, I will touch upon the dark mode. So as you can see right now I'm using light mode. This device does have a AMOLED display, so AMOLED or OLED, I don't exactly remember, but in both cases the dark or blacks specifically here look really good just because of the display. Those pixels are basically turned off, so you have like this pitch black colors. And anyway, we can go into the display and brightness, and from here dark mode we can enable it, and as you can see, there we go, it is now enabled. Now it looks like there is no additional settings, and here to have it set by, for instance, sunrise to sunset, or maybe a schedule. So that's a little bit of a mishap for a phone that was released in 2022. I don't even know what to say, to be honest. Every phone right now, even like the budget ones, can support this, but hell, Huawei apparently wants a premium price for a phone that can't do it. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna turn it off for the rest of the video just because the limitations of this mode are a little bit ridiculous, and number two, the camera, I think it looks a little bit better in light mode. Now anyway, moving on to the next option, it's the refresh rate. So if we again go back to the display and brightness, scroll down, we have screen refresh rate. Right now I have it set to dynamic, and I also believe this is what it's set to by default. If it's not, I do recommend switching it to default for majority of the users. And for the people that want to preserve battery life, I would recommend going for the standard. Now, for everybody who isn't fully aware what this is, screen refresh rate basically defines how many frames per second are displayed on the screen. And what that means is anytime you see something on the screen, like as you can see right now, we have set it to be dynamic, which is 100 Hertz, 120 Hertz, which Hertz is basically a different way of describing frames per second. So the display right now is displaying 120 frames in a single second, every second. So when you're scrolling up and down, and if you have a quick scroll of 1 second, you will have 120 different like slides shown, and well, in just a single second, so it's really quick. It looks smooth as hell. You can probably gather that. But if you switch it to 60, you basically cut in half the amount of data that is being displayed in that single swipe in a second. So things will look a little bit less visually pleasing, what I would say. For gaming, this is really good. The 120 Hertz, it looks really nice. For battery life, not so much. So if you're planning to preserve your battery life, you want to go with the standard 60. And for everybody else that wants to have best of both worlds, I advise on sticking with the what is it called? The dynamic. And what dynamic does is when the screen is not doing anything, like right now, just displaying some let's call it a still image because I'm not scrolling up and down, so this is still, it switches to 60 Hertz to preserve battery life. But when I go back, as an example right here, as long as I'm not doing anything, it's in 60. Once I start scrolling down, it automatically switches to 120 to give me that super smooth scroll motion and just this nice battery smooth animations. So highly recommend messing around with these kind of settings right here. Now moving on to the next option is the always on display. Now we can easily access it from the display and brightness, though it's in the blue text, so it is in a different section right here. But when we tap on it, it quickly moves us over there. And as you can see, we have always on display already enabled, which actually, let's see, does it? Yeah, it's right here. So right here, if you're planning to keep your phone not in a closed, basically not like this, then the this mode kind of seems redundant, but for instance, I would probably use this when I'm at work. Just keep the phone open so I can see what kind of notifications come around. And with it having the always on display, I would be able to see notifications showing up right here and have just a really quick glance whenever I need them. And for everybody else who isn't planning to keep it open just because the appeal of having it closed is just much better, you always have this screen right here. Now, from what I can see, there wasn't any really settings for this, so I believe once you get a notifications, it just lights up right here, and obviously you can always see this. I mean, always when you get a notifications, otherwise it turns off to preserve battery. And this is gonna turn off. There we go. Now it looks like it also has some kind of always on display. As you can see, it shows us time. You can tap on it to light it up, double tap it to wake it up. And obviously from here you can access things like music, camera, mirror, and weather. That's about it. Now we also have notifications if you pull down, and if we pull up, we get nothing. Okay. So anyway, going further to different options, well, technically the last one, it's going to be the customization section of the settings right here. So we can navigate to, what is it? Yep, right here. So the home, exterior, screen, and wallpaper. And in here you'll have just a bunch of different customizations for the phone itself. So we have Moonlight Dynamic. Let's see, we can select the different themes right here. Oh, this one looks nice, so I'm gonna select that. We do need to download it, unfortunately, so I'm gonna do so. Hopefully I don't need to log in, just so we can see how that looks like. I'm kind of curious about it. Let's apply. As you can see, it changes the icons as well. These are like full-fledged, I guess you can call it themes. So we have different wallpaper, different icons, and hopefully we also have a different, cover screen. Look at that, it's even animated. So there we go. And as you've seen before, you can select different themes in here. We have just a couple visible. We can go to more themes, which will launch the app gallery, I believe, at least. Where is it? Oh, it looks like whatever. I'm not really gonna go into it right here because I want to touch upon all the other ones. So we have always on display, which I did kind of touch upon before. We have magazine unlock, which is just a lock screen when the device has a PIN, pattern, password, whatever thing you have. Before you unlock it, you can have the magazine unlock. Personally, I don't really like it. I prefer to have just a static wallpaper of my choice, so I would like to turn that off. There we go. And have obviously the wallpaper, so you can choose ones from the actual preloaded wallpapers. You can get more. Obviously you can also download it from the browser, whatever you want, and set that as your wallpaper of the home screen or the cover screen, so it's your choice. And last thing, we have icons. So in here we can select how the icons look like. Now we have just a couple here, but you can obviously download more from the app gallery right here. And additionally, you have exterior screen right here. So there is the wallpaper that I was talking about. It can change. We have home screen style, standard, or drawer, which allows you to basically have a app drawer. Default is the standard, which it's standard for Apple devices, not Android. Though I guess I can't really make that excuse anymore. Because this isn't running Android anymore, so there we go. Anyway, I do prefer drawers, so that's what I'm gonna switch. And as you can see, it gets rid of all the apps that were right here, or not all, but some couple of them, and gives you access to them in the app drawer. And there was one last thing in here, which was the lock screen signature, so you can add a message to your lock screen. Obviously, you can customize your phone however you like and do it even further and better with launchers, but this is the options that we have preloaded into this device, which you can mess around without any kind of problem. Now, this does conclude the tweaks and tricks that I want to share with you, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.